It's on players and welcome back to Hertha Hero with me, Foggy Plays, on Football Manager 2020 with Hertha Berlin, obviously, because it's Hertha Hero. Today is the beginning of Season 6, just after winning the Champions League. We're going to look at the awards for the end of Season 5 and then transfers for Season 6, for the upcoming season, should I say. The overall best 11 is not too different to the 11 that we played this year. There's few players that have left. Mannion in goal, who despises me. I wonder why. I'm not sure. We have Arias on the at right back, who's playing in China, doing quite well if I'm not mistaken. He's this season especially he's been quite good. Carvajal and Jorginho as our centre backs. They've been centre back partners now for 2 years, 3 years, two. We'll say 2 years because he's had 2 seasons where he's not played that many games. Luca Net's on the left because he's been our main left back for the last 4 years. I want to say, 4 years. He's been one of our main left backs for 4 years. Arne Meyer and Lvly have been centre midfield partnership pretty much the entire time. Mina gets in on the right. He has been an absolute revelation since he joined. This man, especially this season, he has been fantastic goal-wise this season. Fantastic last year for assists. Del Rosen on the left. Still sad that he left, but you know, these things happen. And Esposito and Caio Jorge up front. Again, they've been strike partners for 2 years now. Yeah, a year and a half, 2 years. And they have scored so many goals between them. It has been delightful. On the bench, we have Brian Bingham, who had quite a good first season. 42 games, 45 conceded. It's not terrible. 17 clean sheets is pretty good. Turneriga, who's coming back to us this summer, or at the end of the summer, I think he is. Doesn't have a... Thought there was a buy clause in his contract, but obviously not. Billy Gilmore, Jonathan David, Piatek, who is coming back from Newcastle. He is valued at less than he was when he arrived. Morris Allig, who it's only a matter of time before he becomes the number one right back. He has been exceptional for us since we signed him. And Pietro Pellegrini, who's now playing at Mainz. So he's had a bit of an interesting career since he left us. You know, he spent, 3 years with us. Off to Borussia Mönchengladbach for a season and then joined Mainz. So it's interesting for a little career for him. So we're going to look at the awards. So obviously Caio Jorge won it. He was exceptional all season. Carlos Mina got second and Esposito got third. So basically 3 of our normal front 4 make it in. The only position that was interchanging was really the left wing. Jonathan David gets it, but I'm not sure. You know, we've plenty of different players that played on the left this season. Goal of the season was Lvly against Augsburg in August. I can't imagine you would have seen this. I don't remember it. So we're going to have a quick little look and see. Yeah, like Velasco started left wing this game. We had Brown played there. We go a bit. Melchior played there as well. It was probably... Tomiyasu was still here. This must have been like early on in the season. Like really, really early in the season. We scored better goals than that, but okay. Signing of the season was Pablo Gentil, to be fair. Played 17 games. Before us, he'd only ever played once in his entire career. We gave him so many starts. Started 20 games. Scored 3 goals. Not bad for a centre-back. And young player of the season, Caio Jorge. 22 now, pushing on a little bit to be considered young player of the year. They need to change that. They can't have a player up to 24 years old being seen as the young player of the season. It has to be like 21, maybe 22 for young player of the season. If the player started the season at the age of 21, then yeah, I'd say fair enough. But I've seen players get that at 24. It's too old. The team of the season was Bingham in goal, Allig and Michael as our wing backs. Before Michael and Allig did play quite a lot of games for us. Gabriel and Jorginho. Probably would have put Gentile in instead of Jorginho, but this is what the team we played most during the season. Arne Meyer and Sposley played pretty much every game this season. Carlos Mina and Jonathan David as our wingers. Again, left wing. A lot of players played there, so Esposito played there a bit as well, Caio George and Esposito as the strikers. So top goal scorer, Caio George, 33 goals. Even though I complained about he wasn't scoring enough goals during the season, he still scored 33. That's pretty good. Not quite 50, I would expect 50 from my main striker, but can't have everything, I suppose. He did have the highest average rating of 7.57. Carlos Mina had the most assists with 20. Brian Bingham had an 87% pass completion. I wonder, is it possible to have a player with 95 or better? Because I've seen 93, 94%. Never seen any higher than that though. Most player of the match awards, Caio George with 11. Morris Alec was the boldest of bold boys with 14 yellow cards and 2 reds. Commitment, I like it. Season review was a memorable season for Hertha as they tasted success in the Bundesliga, Champions League and the DFL Super Cup. Knocked out in the Pokal in the third round by Borussia Mönchengladbach. Hertha would have been expected, or had been expected, to make much of the Bundesliga title running and lived up to their pre-season billing by finishing top of the pile. It was a superb season for the Alta Dame as they claimed their second successive title back to back. Get in. Match of the season was our 9-2 victory against Fortuna Düsseldorf. We did. That was a good. I enjoyed that game. And Bayer Leverkusen beat us 6-1, and that was the moment to forget. That was disappointing. 79% full stadium, which is exactly why they won't expand the stadium or build a new one. But not that I want them to. We used 35 players, which was the most in the league. As is per usual, the player uses the most players because we rotate teams more than the AI do. The expectations for next season are to play attacking, entertaining, high-tempo football and making the most of set pieces. We've been doing all of that, bar the set pieces. It's been a little bit... the work within the wage budget, which we've done since the day we arrived, and increase commercial revenue by using players who bring merchandise boost. Okay, so we need to find a decent Korean or Chinese player, essentially is what they're saying here, or another American, but a bigger name American. Next season they want us to challenge for the Bundesliga, reach the semi-finals of the Champions League, then the season after is to win the Bundesliga, and then continue winning the Bundesliga. Our contract doesn't expire till the end of next season, which is, or the season after, according to this, but next season, 2026. So that is fine, I'll take all of that. Dynamics are fantastic, as you would expect. We just won the Champions League and the Bundesliga. I do enjoy looking at the injury reports. So Yokoyama missed 32% of the season. Most injury-prone player was Lvly. Had 7 injuries during the season, but he's away on loan, so that's not really our problem. And we had 2 players with 4-month-long injuries. Yokoyama, broken lower leg, and Jonathan David, wanted, with a broken ankle. The squad will be back on the 1st of July, the day before my birthday. Did I mention my birthday is the 2nd of July? I probably have. Where are we going to go on our pre-season training camp? It is going to have to be Austria, Switzerland. Oh, we're going to Japan. We are going to Japan. I'm trying to offload Billy Gilmore and Smirnov. I think Smirnov could be a player good enough to continue playing for us. He just bitches and moans far too often. He's come in, played 9 games this season, and he just will not stop complaining. He wanted to go. He was playing games and turned around and said he wanted to go on loan. I was like, okay. So I offered him out on loan, and he rejected the offers. What? And then he blames me. I don't know. But we're going to try and offload him. Billy Gilmore's want to buy, I think he was wanting to buy Norwich. Well, it's wanted by Aston Villa now. He was wanted by Norwich originally. So we'll see what happens with that. It's a new contract. Kyle George wins the Golden Boot in the Champions League, scoring 11 out of 12. Eden Hazard scored 10 and Lautaro Martinez scored 10. Beaten finalist, huh? Players named in the Dream Team, we have pretty much everybody. Bingham, Michael, Alec, Mina, Lvly, Esposito and Kyle George. Esposito moved onto the left wing. Interesting. There's no bench for this. So neither of our centre backs make it in. Arne Meyer misses out, which is disappointing. Don't like that. Best goalkeeper, David De Gea still playing? I suppose, yeah, we probably would have known that. We would have played against them. Milhojevic. Mijatojevic. Playing for Levski Sofia. Or Levski. But Bingham gets goalkeeper of the season. Defender of the season. Garvidal. Not in the Dream Team, but he's the best defender. Okay. So he's won that award. Arne Meyer wins midfielder of the season. Doesn't make it into the Dream Team. Interesting. Anyway, that's all the awards done. Transfer-wise, we have a few players coming in on the 1st of July. Kuskondere is now valued at 19 million. After the Champions League victory, went up from 7.5 million. Tried offering him a new contract again, he rejected it. So we are losing Kuskondere to Borussia Dortmund for 7.75 million, which is annoying. We've also agreed to sign Rodrigo De Paul, just for cover in central midfield wingers. I know he's 30, but he's a good option to have, I guess. Boadu is leaving for Hoffenheim. What's your value after moving up to? 57 million. Fantastic. We sold you for 31.5. And Bays looks like he could be on the way out as well. Nobody's offered the money we want for him, but he's got plenty of interest in him. So we will be back in just a second with a roundup of all the transfers that we've done, everyone that's coming in, everyone that's going out, and then for the first game of the season, whoever that may be. We'll have to wait and see who comes up to face us on the opening day of the season. We will be back in just a second. Right, fellas, the first game of the season has rolled around. We are still in the transfer window, but we have been busy. We're taking on Bayer Leverkusen in the first game of the season. We've been busy fixture-wise, as you can see. I've also taken control of Ireland. If it's ever... No? Okay. Because we're on that screen. We are now Ireland manager. So that'll be fun for us. Oh, playing against Hungary. I did not actually realise that. We're playing against Hungary, Kosovo and Denmark in the Nations League. We're not going to play any Nations League games unless we get to the final or something. But we're not going to because we're in B division. Bayer Leverkusen have a new manager in charge. It is Marco Rose. You can't see that because I am blocking it. But they've gotten themselves a new manager within the last 2 months. But as you can see, friendlies went quite well. We absolutely demolished Galatasaray. Then we went and played Wolfsburg in the DFL Super Cup 3-0 in Wolfsburg's home ground. We brought 3,000 away fans. Szoboszlai, Velasco and Esposito all with the goals. And then against Not Again. In the Pokal first round, we beat them 5-0. Martin Zak scored. Gracier scored a brace and Melchior scored a brace as well. Gracier is the Czech striker we brought in, or we agreed to bring in last year. He has been quite good. As you can see, Arne Meyer got himself sent off as well. One of the few players in the team that is a regular starter, along with, I think, Carlos Mina also played from the beginning because I wanted some bit of experience in the team. And Arne Meyer got himself sent off. So that was less than ideal. And then we went and beat Leon in the Super Cup in Bulgaria. Kyle George, Xerxes, Carlos Mina and Esposito all getting goals. Carlos Mina did pick up an injury and he is unavailable for today's game because of it, but this game is going to be played tomorrow. So transfer-wise, we still have some offers to go through. So Patrick Lindsay is going on loan to Armin Bielefeld. Lvly is after handing in a transfer request, but nobody is meeting the 150 million amount that I want. MK is wanting to leave, so he has a bunch of offers in for him. Jonathan David's had a couple of offers in from Wolves. They've offered 46 million twice for him. Not going to sell him for 46 million, but they can keep offering money all they want. So we'll have a quick look at the players that have left. So as you know, Kuskundere has left for Borussia Dortmund for 7.75 million because of a release clause, and he refused to sign a new contract. Boadu has gone to Hoffenheim for 31.5. Julian Gomez went to Werder Bremen for 2.2. Motz left us for nearly $1 million to Ingolstadt, who've also taken Kazetta for like its fourth year. For his fourth year on loan. Ingolstadt are no longer managed by Shane Long. He's gone off to Lazio. David Brooks has gone to Mainz for 8 million. Rios Novo, who kept Girona in La Liga, he went to Young Boys for 15 million. Yeah, it was 15 million. Tornariga has gone to Bayer Leverkusen for 8 million, which is disappointing, but he wasn't going to make it into our team. Tippel's gone to Birmingham, but nobody cares. Rodrigo de Paul. He arrived on, as you can see, 1st of July, left on the 8th. We had a £25 million release clause in his contract that his agent put in. He came to the club valued at 51 million on, I think it was 44,000 a week. And Inter Milan came in and went 25 million, no bother, 105k. So he was here. We didn't even come to the club. He was away playing for Argentina. So he signed for the club and a week later left. So he didn't even make it to Germany. Billy Gilmore went to Blackburn for 15 million. Again, another release clause, and a player who wouldn't sign a new contract for us to get rid of it. So himself and Kuskundere both leaving for less than their, and Rodrigo de Paul. Rodrigo de Paul came in for 51 million. I couldn't believe it. But they've all gone for less than what their value was. Smirnov, nobody wanted him, so we left him go on loan. Cleonise has finally left us, unfortunately. Quite liked him definitely for our first season. His first season here, I thought he was fantastic. Struggled to make it into the team for the second season. Went away on loan for 2 years and has now left for Wolfsburg. So it's disappointing, but we made some bit of money off him. We loaned out a couple of players. Piatek's gone to Newcastle for 18 million, which, very good couple of seasons, and he had a couple of bad seasons. So Julian Albrecht went to Dynamo Dresden for 2.6 million. Luka Netz, this was difficult. Leverkusen offered to buy him. I rejected it. Luka Netz said he wanted to join them, so I said okay. Doesn't have a favourite club, so I was hoping that he'd be true to us, but he decided he wanted to leave. Zucchiletto has gone to Empoli for 2.7 million. Harvey Elliott's gone out on loan as well, as has Penna Biafore. Ryan Cassidy's gone out on loan. Angbang Langer, but you haven't met Langer yet because we only signed him recently. And Payeo, who is our Peruvian striker. I wanted to play him this year. He wanted to go out on loan, so he has. In terms of players coming in, though, we've brought in Patrick Lindsay, Rodrigo de Paul, who has, as you know, left. Harvey Elliott, who's already gone on loan. And we signed Johnson Frere from Leeds. I need to change his picture because young Erling Haaland. Not which one. Not with that. This guy looks quite good. It says he's currently operating at a Bundesliga level. Picked up an injury just before he arrived, so he is still out. It says here he's 5th best centre back. He's definitely higher rated by me than that. Emmanuel Zuniga is a Mexican midfielder we brought in just because he looks quite good. I think he's got German. He was released by Bayern Munich, but I think he could be good. So, well, at least decent. So we're going to leave him sit in the under-19s for a year, see how he gets on. Gracier, as you know, Jan Horvath, who has actually played a couple of games already, he looks like he could play straight away. If he increases his crossing, which he should do over time, this guy is going to be very good. As you can see, he's already played a cup game, played against Nottingham, and he was quite good. So, but then again, they were terrible. Langer, who also need to change his picture, he came from Monterrey. He's gone out on loan to Kaiserslautern. He's actually not terrible, but just want to give him a year at Kaiserslautern, see how he gets on, and see if he can break into our first team. We then signed Koulibaly, who I know, not the normal player for us to sign, but the reason I generally don't sign old players is because their physicals are shot. His physicals are still really rather good. So we're going to give him a season. We'll see how he gets on. If he's not playing by January, we'll just sell him. It's worth 22.5 million. So can't really go wrong with that. Then we signed Bruno Queiroz, who is also in the change his face, a Brazilian defensive midfielder who we were going to teach to be a centre back. We have a lot of centre backs already, so I might just train him to be a centre midfielder. Well, I'm training him to be a centre midfielder. He's quite good anywhere. You could teach him to do anything apart from a striker, because it's by finishing. But he looks quite good. I think 15 million is a decent price to get for him, or to pay for him. Maybe a smidge high, but I think given time, Bruno Queiroz could be quite the player. We've also signed Mohamed Diop, who's gone from Nimes, who's gone back on loan to Nimes as part of the offer. He's an 18-year-old right back who looks pretty good. I'm not going to lie. In terms of complete wing back, which is what we play, he's got the attributes to do pretty much everything. He's getting first team football, which is most important. He's had that one season, but we bought him for 2 million. He's already valued at just over 4. Going to get another season in France playing for Nîmes, so I don't see any issue with that. And developments and their finances, we still have 453 million in the bank, 285.5 million in transfer budget, and 400,000 in wage budget. So if Lvly does leave, that's 100k in wages. If Jonathan David decides to leave, that's 155k. Yeah, 155k. I know MK isn't being paid too much, but that's still 3.2k. You know, it all matters. And other than that, I don't think we've done anything else. I'll show you actually who we released. I don't think there's too many. Yeah, Philip Vasco hasn't picked himself up a club yet. I think for a smaller team, Vasco would be a very good player, but we're too big for him. Abling and Joshua Rochelle, don't think any of them. Oh no, they do have clubs. Bosham took them. But yeah, it's been an interesting. Actually, this one transfer window. It's been interesting so far. We've brought in 11 players, sold 29. We've made £119 million profit. Did not realise Mason Greenwood had joined Barcelona. Interesting. Interesting indeed. We have one of the highest transfers, Johnson Fryer, 32 million. I hope he comes good. I really do, obviously, but I think probably could. The first team is a little bloated at the minute. I'm trying to figure out who we want to keep in the first team and who we want to get either send out on loan, sell, or drop to one of the lower teams. Javad Azdar. Not really sure what I want to do with him, because I feel like he's not really the kind of midfielder we want. So I might try and his heading isn't great for a centre back, but I'm thinking maybe left back could be an option. But he's also terrible at crossing, can't really run. He's an Iranian international. I might possibly send him out on loan again, because he's not a Bundesliga. He's potential to be a Bundesliga 2 player. I'm not 100% sure what we do with him. Todibo has played twice already. Kind of regret buying him. That was just this. I bought him just because I could. Kind of feel like I shouldn't have. And 30 million. It's gonna be hard enough if we were to sell him. Be a little difficult to actually, get someone to pay that much money for him. But it's gonna be fine. There's still players. Obviously, like I said, Lvly wants to leave. 19 clubs want him. Pretty much every big club and Man United want him. Tottenham want him as well. So, West Ham, Leicester, Brighton, some, smaller clubs want him as well. But this all started because Barcelona offered like 40 million for him. It's just like, no thank you. Gervidal is also wanted by many a club, which is frustrating because he is by far and away our best centre back. If you look at the current ability, just based on what Sydney Lobo thinks, we have Jonathan David, Arne Meyer, Bingham, Michael, Gervidal, Esposito, Carlos Mina, Lvly, and Kyle George, all at least 4-star. And if you look at potential wise, if you go for 4.5-star, we have how many players? 13 players in our first team. No, 14 players. This guy, the Icelandic striker, I really want to give him game time this year. I know his attributes are a bit all over the place, but like the ones you don't need, like long shots are somewhat important, but like he's got good. He'll never make it as a defender because it's 4 tackling and it's 3 marking. But this guy could actually be really rather good. I know he didn't get many games last year with Armin Biefeld, but he did pick up a couple of injuries as well. So I'm hoping that this guy can do the business. He is wanted actually by Firth. Maybe we let him go down on. We only paid 220k for him, so I want to give him a couple of games. I think he could be good. So we're going to see what we can do with him. As I said, Koulibaly, if he doesn't start getting games, because he is, according to the second best centre back, he's probably 4th choice. Garvidal, Jorginho, Johnson Fryer, and Gentile are probably ahead of him. So he's probably 5th choice, and Todibo is 6th choice. We also have Alpha Junior, who is available to play this year. This guy is definitely going to get game time. I'm just hoping that his attributes continue to grow as they have been. He's been at the club now for 2 years. Everything's more or less going up. It's just a case of, can we keep it going up? So we're going to leave it there. We're going to come back in the next episode for our game against Bayer Leverkusen. We will be back for that in the next episode. As I said, kind of confused myself. If you did enjoy, please do make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Share with all of your friends, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!